In the heart of the African savannah, in the rolling grasslands of Kenya, there lived a young Maasai warrior named Simba. Simba, whose name meant lion in Swahili, had always been fascinated by the great lions that roamed his homeland. He admired their strength, courage, and the way they fiercely protected their pride, just as his own Maasai community protected their own. Simba was not the tallest or the strongest warrior in his village, but he possessed a heart full of compassion and a deep sense of responsibility. One sunny morning, as he looked out over the vast plains, he spotted a small, frail gazelle struggling to stay on its feet. It was apparent that the gazelle was injured and unable to fend for itself. Simba could not bear to see the weak and defenseless suffer, and he decided to help the gazelle. He approached it with caution, mindful not to frighten the injured creature. Gently he examined the gazelle's leg and found a thorn embedded in its flesh. Simba carefully removed the thorn, and with a makeshift splint, he bound the gazelle's leg. With tenderness in his eyes, he whispered soothing words to the gazelle and gave it some water to drink. As the days turned into weeks, Simba became the gazelle's protector and caregiver. He would bring it food and water, ensuring it had a safe place to rest and recover. The other Maasai warriors were puzzled by his actions, questioning why Simba would invest his time and energy in caring for the weakest creature in the savannah. One evening, as the sun painted the sky in shades of orange and pink, Simba explained his actions to the elders of the village. He likened the gazelle to the youngest cubs in a lion pride. He spoke of the lions, the great protectors of their prides, and how they never abandoned their young or left them to fend for themselves. In our Maasai culture, Simba said, we are taught to be like the lions, to protect those weaker than us, just as the lions protect their cubs. It is our duty to show compassion and care for all living beings, for it is in being protectors that we find our true strength and purpose. The elders nodded in agreement, understanding that being a protector was a value that transcended species, bound by compassion. They began to see the wisdom in Simba's actions and commended him for his dedication to the injured gazelle. As the gazelle's leg gradually healed, it grew stronger and more confident. Simba's care had given it a second chance at life, and it was evident that the bond between them had deepened. Simba and the gazelle became inseparable, and the warrior would often bring his newfound friend with him on his patrols of the savannah. The gazelle, once frail and vulnerable, had transformed into a symbol of resilience and determination, much like the youngest lion cubs in a pride. One fateful day, as Simba and the gazelle were patrolling the grasslands together, they came across a perilous situation. A pack of hungry hyenas had trapped a lioness and her cubs in a rocky crevice. The lioness had bravely defended her young, but she was growing weaker, and the cubs were in danger. Without hesitation, Simba sprang into action. His heart swelled with the spirit of a protector as he led the charge against the hyenas, fighting fiercely to free the lioness and her cubs. The gazelle, once the weakest among them, also joined the battle, using its newfound strength to help fend off the hyenas. Together, they managed to drive the hyenas away, saving the lioness and her cubs from harm. As Simba looked around at the lioness and her cubs, he realized the profound significance of his actions. He had not only protected the weakest, but had also experienced the true power of being a protector. In doing so, he had not only safeguarded the vulnerable, but had also discovered the strength within himself. Word of the brave Maasai warrior and his unlikely companions spread throughout the land, inspiring others to follow in his footsteps. The Maasai community, once puzzled by Simba's actions, now understood that being a protector was a path to a richer, more meaningful life. And so, in the heart of the African savannah, the story of Simba and his journey to protect the weakest of the weak continued to echo through the generations. The lesson was clear. In protecting those weaker than ourselves, we find our own strength, our purpose, and our pride. Just as lions protected their own, the Maasai warriors learned to be the guardians of the vulnerable in Kenya and in their hearts.